My name is Leilani Thatcher, a tour guide at the Library of Lost Things. This is The Doorstep Project, episode 50, Why We Choose to Remember. Hey guys. I've been gone for a while, and a lot has happened. I've learned more about the library, about the professor and Mavis. I learned about Hypus and Arcadia. I saw things from other worlds. I met beings that weren't supposed to exist. I talked to ghosts and fairies and demon hunters and a very talkative robot. I learned about the world. And I'll tell you all of these stories and more. I promise. I just stopped talking for a little bit. To you guys, I mean. Gavin thought it might be prudent that I share my thoughts with someone other than Mavis. Someone human. And as far as I know, most of my listeners are still human. I want to talk about why we choose to remember. When I was younger, I got lost in the bathroom. That's a real story. It's how I ended up here, actually. Why I started working here. I had walked down a long hallway to find a restroom. It was dark and there was no one else in there. It's weird being on the other side of a mirror. I now know that's where I was, maybe where I still am. I'm getting ahead of myself. I was 13 years old. I was just looking for the bathroom. We were at a hockey game. My dad grew up playing hockey, and now we all go to the local team games, you know? He wanted to put my younger brother, Wyatt, in hockey for years, and it took a lot of convincing for my mom to agree. I'd been to the stadium before. I knew where the bathrooms were, but they were out of order. I asked one of the staff members if there was another one, and she pointed down a hallway. It was dark. The lights didn't work, and it turned a few times before I found the door. It was a long row of stalls on one side, sinks on the other, and a mirror at the end. I picked the first stall on the right. I remember that very clearly. And I remember the lights were kind of flickering while I was in there, and it scared me. And when I got out of the stall, I walked to the sink. But I noticed to my right, where the door was supposed to be, where I had come in, there were more stalls. The door farther down, like I was on the other side of the bathroom. I looked to the left, and there was the door again. I thought maybe there wasn't a mirror. Maybe I saw it wrong. Maybe it was a door and stalls and another door. So I washed my hands, and I turned to the right, and I ran into a glass wall. I didn't have a reflection, but I think I knew it was a mirror. I left the bathroom through the left side door, and I've lived my life normal ever since. Why did I choose to remember that? I built this whole life around this memory, hunting for stories like mine, trying to figure out what happened. I got used to my world being different. My childhood bedroom was on the left instead of the right. The fridge was on the right side of the wall instead of the left. I felt like I was going crazy, but I got used to it, explained it away, and I chose to remember. Why do we choose to remember? The past few months have turned my world upside down, and there have been many moments where I wish I could forget ever stepping foot into this library. It's an age-old question. One I heard in a podcast recently. A creature had trapped people in a game and was making them sacrifice to leave. Some had to choose between family members, some between money and love. The question asked of the main character was simple. Knowledge or ignorance? Would you rather live in a world where you know nothing about what you could have known, or live in a world where you remember everything you've ever learned. History is a record of what we choose to remember. My goal here, now that I've seen what I've seen and been where I've been, is to remember everything. Why do I choose to remember? Because the other option is to live in a world without consequence and learning, and that sounds horrible. Why do you choose to remember? Do you want to remember? Do you want to learn about this world like I did? Do you want to wish you could unlearn everything and start over and remember a simple library with a compass and a book and a wall of letters and dreams? Knowledge or ignorance? I will tell my story. But it's your turn to pick. It's your turn to choose to remember. Thank you for listening to The Doorstep Project. This audio drama was created and produced by Family Friendly Podcasts. If you enjoyed the podcast, leave a rating and review on your podcast app of choice or share it with a friend. Leilani and the project will be back next week. Until then, write every day. One day, your story could be in a museum. The Doorstep Project is produced by Family Friendly Podcasts. It was written, edited, and performed by AJ Barton. Sound effects for this podcast are provided by Zapsplat. Music used in this podcast includes Reawakening by Kevin McLeod, licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 license. You can learn more at his website, incompetech.com, or at creativecommons.org. Both music and sound effects have been changed and edited by AJ Barton. Links for websites, information, and contact can be found in the description of the episode. Would you like to submit your story or art to the Doorstep Project? You can find information for story submission at familyfriendlypodcast.com/The Doorstep Project. Information on CC by 4.0 licenses can be found at creativecommons.org.